in an ideal world, with all the wrestling talent that's been, okay, would Jim have a heel champ with a...
Couldn't you run these through the goddamn grammatical correctorator?
Well, you know, it is Twitter.
I sound like Dusty now. I sound like Dusty. Greg, can you run it through the grammatical correctorator? So have I told you the Dusty closed captioning story on the air?
I don't remember.
I check into a fucking hotel somewhere. I'm in Smoky Mountain. It's when Dusty was doing a Saturday night TBS commentary, I think, right? And I check in the fucking hotel. Maybe I'm at WWF somewhere. And I turn the TV on, and the closed captioning is on from the previous occupant. And I've turned on a Saturday night show, and they're trying to close caption Dusty's commentary. And it's just a stream of gibberish. It's just, that is why the Smiga home. And they couldn't get it. And sometimes it would be words, but they wouldn't be words that went together, and they wouldn't really be reflective of the words that he was speaking. So even Dusty was so far ahead, even closed captioning couldn't catch up with him.
When I was in London, I remember watching wrestling late night in a hotel I found it on, and they had someone doing sign language on the bottom of the screen while the matches were going on.
I've seen those. Yes, when I was over there, I saw that.
So, like, even when someone was getting choked, the person would put their hands by their throat and mirror a choke. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. But, it was like she had her hands around her throat going, I'll squeeze, I'll kill her if you don't do whatever.
Well, let's go back to this question, Jim.
Yeah, what is this illiterate bastard trying to ask us?
Would you have a heel champion with a baby face chasing, or a Hulk Hogan fighting the heels?
Okay.
In an ideal world, if you're...
Yes.
I'm going to change this question around. In an ideal world, you're booking a promotion, you have a promotion. What would be your main event scenario? The heel being chased by the babyface, or the babyface who destroys all the heels every week?
Well, it depends. It depends on where the promotion is and who the babyface would be, or who the heels would be, or vice versa. So there's no rule of thumb to that. The reason why there's been two schools of thought, because generally the Northeast found it goes back to the resurgence of wrestling after the TV era. There'd been no wrestling in Madison Square Garden since 1939. And they revive it in 49, and there was one show that popped, and then they bombed, the promotion changed hands. There's a wonderful book that Scott Teal put out on the history of Madison Square Garden wrestling. But when they finally hit their formula, it was Rocca. It was with an ethnic babyface that was unstoppable. So Rocca went to Bruno. Bruno went to Pedro. Pedro went back to Bruno. From 1949 through 80, whatever the fuck, for 40 fucking years, that was the formula. And then Hogan technically is ethnic because he was supposed to be Irish. Hogan, because they were appealing to Vince Sr. with the, Irish connection.
It was definitely the same formula with Backlund and Hogan, at least early on with Hogan.
And Backlund, All-American boy. So they just established, but conversely, in the Southern territories, it was because for a weekly territory, you had to have the babyface chase. If the babyface didn't get wronged repeatedly over and over in some creative way, but still stay strong enough where the people had faith in him, in the weekly territories or in the smaller population territories where you had to depend on repeat business, the babyface winning constantly would not have worked. It would have killed your business. But for the bigger population center, and established by the fact that the ethnic folks what ethnicity it would be would support their hero, that's the way the formula was established up there. And in Los Angeles, it was similar for years with a guy like they had the first Hispanic champion out there. Would they not have in Los Angeles? Not only Enrique Torres and the Torres brothers, but what was the guy? Oh, in the 40s, they had a Hispanic babyface. You've scared it out of me. What was his name?
I don't know.
But anyway, he was the somebody's going to say, "Oh, you fucking idiot! It was so and so." Its name's on the tip of my tongue. But he was their world champion in the 40s as a Hispanic babyface. So in the bigger population centers with bigger ethnic populations, it seems to work that way. If you want to do, like Southern business, repeat business, weekly territories, it's better to have the heat on the heels. And then finally, again, you have to know which one's which. If you find a Hulk Hogan, you might build something around him. But if you find a Ric Flair, you might build something around him. If you're just starting from scratch.
Well, you know,
so it depends on who and where.
Well, yeah, the other thing too is Vince McMahon Sr. didn't have to worry about when he was going to get dates on his champion, which obviously changes your formula too.
Yeah, well, but and then also, well, and Vern took it to the extreme with keeping himself the babyface champion for 20 fucking years. But you know, then in Texas, usually they had steady heels that would face the local heroes, whether it be the Funks or the Von Erichs or whatever. But there was a family of them. When it's just one guy and there's not a family connection, it's harder to do sometimes to keep them coming as a babyface.